May 2018, 3 years ago now, and we start this 3-year journey back at my powerlifting days in Supreme Training. This is one of the most memorable deadlift sets that I have. Here I'm working up to a top triple at 192.5 kilos, and I'm prepping for a powerlifting competition. And I was training at my favourite gym of all time, Supreme Training in Middlesbrough, which no longer exists. The owner, Sean, only is online nowadays, so these are some of the best memories I have training there. And here we go, straight into the competition. This competition meant everything to me at the time. This was a 180 kilo squat PR, and here I am at the strongest I've ever been. This is still my current squat PR at 180 kilos. And then we go straight into the bench press. 100 kilos here, not the strongest lift by far. It was only my opener, and I missed the next two just because I just wasn't strong enough on the day. And this deadlift was amazing, also a 210 kilo deadlift PR. At the height of my strength and size here in the summer of 2018. Looking back at this from 2021, that is not what I would have wanted to hear if you told me that on the platform. This is a very memorable day for me doing deficit deadlifts. Here I'm doing, I think it was 6 sets of 6 on a deficit deadlift, and this was the day I actually pulled my back, which basically meant that I couldn't deadlift and squat for about a year. So after a year of making no progress,
you must stay at home.
Big man Boris just came up on the screen and said that the gyms are closed, which was infuriating. So all we had at home here was just a pull-up bar and a little bit of free weights, nothing useful, and I got into a pretty bad nick. I mean, I wasn't terribly fat, I was just not overly muscular, wasn't particularly happy with how I looked, couldn't squat or deadlift, and I was pretty frustrated that that's where I was, given how strong I used to be. Definitely not what we all want to see when we think we're going to be further than we are. So we're hitting some weights, and finally, the gym's reopened again. So I wasted no time in just going straight into a perma bulk. I was probably eating 4,000 calories a day at this point. Wasn't tracking anything, I was just eating constantly, force feeding, eating when I was hungry, mounds and mounds of food, and it got me big quick. Here I am, I think it was about 130 kilos, 5x5, fully raw. I got my overhead press up to around 70 kilos, which is brilliant, and I was hitting some all-time PBs for reps for a lot of the lifts. Even managed to get my deadlift back up to around 4 plates, which is 180 kilos ish, and I was absolutely loving training. The training was going so well. I'd moved to a new gym at this point down in Southampton, and I was coming fresh out of a breakup, to be fair, and I was just training my ass off because I wasn't where I wanted to be in life, I wasn't where I wanted to be in the gym, and I just had a lot of ground to make up for, a lot of lost time, and this gym had the right atmosphere to make the progress I wanted to do. And I was incredibly happy with the amount of progress that I made during this 3-month period when I was training here. And I was delighted that my deadlift form enabled me to lift again. My back wasn't a problem, had no injuries, absolutely amazing time. But all good things have to come to an end.
You must stay at home.
So here we are, after that perma bulk, looking a bit fat, a bit fluffy, and I was not particularly happy with how I was looking. I was happy with the strength when I was in the gym, but you take me outside the gym and I wasn't happy. But I was determined not to become a victim of my circumstances. I was determined not to let the government take all my hard work away from me, and not to go in a negative spiral, get depressed, get anxious. The gym is a massive factor for me. So I decided to run a cut while I was at home, just doing a lot of calisthenics and some dumbbell workouts. So I managed to get pretty lean pretty quick, doing intermittent fasting and an aggressive calorie deficit of around 2,000 to 1,800 calories a day. You might have seen some of my previous lockdown videos, just showing you how I was training, day in my life. And here's some of the footage now of how I ended up looking at the end of that cut. And I was very happy. I was very happy with the way I was looking. It was the best shape I've ever been in my life. By far. It got to a point though when I was training at home and I just didn't see the point in cutting anymore. I knew the gyms were going to open soon, was just craving a lot of food, and I was looking forward to getting back and regaining strength. I don't have a problem sticking to a goal, absolutely annihilating it and getting lean and in the best shape of my life, but if I know that the gym's going to open again and I want to start putting on size, I didn't see the point in pushing it any further. But as you can see, I think I've got a pretty good physique on me here. By far not the best physique you're ever going to see on YouTube, but by my standards, I'm incredibly happy with this, and you are your own competition at the end of the day. You don't need to compare yourself to other people. This is the best I've ever looked, and I was very happy with it. I know that I'm not on an IFBB Pro stage, but given how far I've come in just a year, if you go back to the pull-ups I was doing during lockdown, I wouldn't believe my eyes that this is the physique I would have been able to pull off just in less than a year. So again, a lot of home training, a steep calorie deficit, 10,000 steps, an hour on a spin bike a day, and we managed to achieve this level of conditioning, which was fantastic. It's the first time I ever properly tracked all my macros on MyFitnessPal, and I couldn't have been happier. Absolutely fantastic. These pull-ups here are called inch pull-ups, so it's just where you go slower on the way up. Really hits the lats hard. They're one of my favourite movements to do when I was during lockdown, just to make the pull-ups a little bit harder, because I can do sets of 20. I think this is one of the best front shots I had. I was getting very, very good ab definition at this point, and I don't think I'm going to get in this sort of condition again for quite a while. I need to put on a lot of frame to my size. So here we are just 4 weeks after the gym's opening again, and I have rebounded hard in this bulk. I have put on some serious size already, and my strength has just gone through the roof. It's just absorbed everything I've given it, and now it's time to really push the strength training, the bodybuilding, the powerlifting hard as possible. And here's a side-by-side of me this time last year versus right now, and I cannot believe the difference that that training has made. And just a little note to leave you on here: anything that you believe you can definitely achieve. You should never let your circumstances dictate your life. Don't let lockdowns, relationships, setbacks, anything get in your way. I've got huge goals to accomplish this year, so if you want to drop me a subscribe, like the video, put some comments down below, I would love to have you follow along the journey. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.